All right, welcome to our latest Swampcast. Pat Dooley and Robbie Andreu from the Gainesville Sun. We haven't talked to you in a while, and we're getting ready to leave for Harbor Beach Marriott, Fort Lauderdale, Robbie. And
tough gig, isn't it?
It is. I don't know how I'm going to stand a week in a luxury hotel, but
you'll be working so much you won't even know where.
I know. It'll just be the inside of the room, I promise, till nighttime. But anyway, we're looking forward to it. And of course, anytime you're covering a national championship game involving Florida, it's fun. '96 was fun. 2006 was fun. And we're just looking forward to seeing what happens, because already this game, Robbie, has been hyped up so much, and people have said defense, offense, blah, blah, blah. I'm almost tired of it already.
Yeah, I know. It's been overhyped, and there's so many obvious storylines. Like you said, how does Florida stop Oklahoma's offense? You know, how does Oklahoma stop Florida? So a lot of storylines are going to get beat to death here in the next week.
Yeah, Bobby Stoops obviously being one of them, and we'll deal with that in our next Swampcast when we preview the game. Right now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that have been going on at the University of Florida. One of them, of course, Dan Mullen leaving for the job at Mississippi State, replaced by Steve Addazio, but Mullen is coaching in the national championship game. Robbie, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think, you know, Urban Meyer said the other day that the best way to win the game is to have Dan Mullen coach the offense and, you know, coach Tebow more importantly than anything else, because Tebow's comfortable with him. So, you know, I think they want to keep everything in order the way it was during the season, continue the run they were on. And, you know, the plays are called by committee. Myers said that several times, so I don't think it's going to affect anything during the game. I mean, the whole coaching staff comes up with a game plan, scripts it, then the plays are called accordingly. So I think it's going to be just like it's been all season. You're not going to see a big difference, and the Mullen impact is not going to be huge in this game, I don't think.
And I think there's a misconception that Dan Mullen's sitting up there with this list of 70 plays, picking one out and calling the. Basically, that it's pretty much scripted, and then Urban will say, "Hey, I want the ball in Percy's hands on this play." Well, I got 9 plays for Percy. Let me pick one of those out. That's what's going to be happening in this game again, and the game plan was put in by the other coaches. The hiring of Steve Addazio was a little bit of a surprise, only because he's an offensive line coach, but he's been with Urban Meyer a long time, and from all our dealings with him, seems like a pretty sharp guy.
Yeah, real smart guy, and like Meyer says, he brings like an intensity to it all. And he even said the other day he doesn't let many people talk to his team a lot, but he's a guy that talks to them every Saturday morning before a game, gets them all jacked up. And you know, he was going over how they come up with a game plan, Pat, and it kind of gets condensed during the game. Like there'll be a 3rd and 4, and there'll be a list of 4 or 5 plays that you can call in that situation. They go from there. So it was real interesting listening to him talk about how they came up with a game plan and how it works.
I think what people don't realize is that the job the offensive coordinator does is more before the game than during the game.
It is. It's like he said, it starts Sunday when you break down film, and then it goes on throughout the week as you're coming up with a plan to go against a certain defense.
It's watching the defense and figuring out what'll work against them during the week, and then practicing it and seeing if it looks like it's going to work. So I think Florida's in good hands there. They obviously will have to hire a quarterback coach, and we'll see who that is. You know, the name I hear is Greg Brandon, the Bowling Green former coach, who was Urban's offensive coordinator for a couple of years there. But, you know, I mentioned him to Urban. He said that they've talked and he's a name, but that's all we know right now.
Yeah, he feels comfortable with a guy like that.
Yeah, it'll probably be after the game before you get to that, but we'll see what happens there. Obviously, the other news, Percy Harvin seems to be ahead of schedule, Robbie. And, you know, we saw Florida beat the #1 team in the country without Percy Harvin.
Yeah.
It certainly gives Gator fans. The one thing that's amazing to me is almost everybody I talk to thinks Florida's going to win this game. I would think it would be split right down the middle.
Yeah, I would think so too. And you look at the people that are picking Oklahoma, how is Florida going to stop that offense?
Yeah.
To me, that's the thing. How does Florida get enough stops to, you know, win the game? That's going to be the whole key to me.
Well, we've been watching a lot of football, obviously, with the bowl season going on, and nothing I've seen from the Big 12 has been impressive. But again, these are their lower teams so far. You know,
yeah,
Oklahoma
and
State.
you can't compare, because these are teams playing in a meaningless bowl game.
Yeah.
Florida, Oklahoma are playing the game of the year. So
yeah, when people say
you can't really compare.
Yeah, watch Texas Tech and Ole Miss. That'll tell you. And I'm
it won't tell you a
Ole
thing.
Miss was 8-4. I mean, come on. It's not. No, that was what they did to Florida was certainly something to salute. But I don't think. I've never been a believer you can watch bowl games, Robbie, and then say, well, that means this is going to happen.
No.
You don't know who shows up.
You've seen too many bowl games, Pat, where one team came in flat and it just gets pushed through all around and looks terrible.
And all matchups are different. And, you know, for example, the SEC, and I thought Dwight Collins made a great point in a column the other day in our paper, the SEC's matchups are hard. I mean, the ACCs are easy.
Yeah.
So the ACC will probably have although they're 3-3 as we speak right now, they probably might have a better record than the SEC. So don't worry about any of that stuff. Don't watch the Big 12 games and go, oh, I think Florida's going to roll because of that happened.
Yeah, it's okay to feel good if you see a Big 12 team getting shredded on defense, because they don't play a lot in that league.
No, not that I've
Which
seen
has been evident so far.
Yeah, it has, and we'll see how that all works out. Of course, the BCS games are coming up for us anyway. By the time you see this, they may have been played, but we want to talk a little bit about those. And obviously, the one that I think everybody's looking forward to is the Texas-Ohio State game in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, that's kind of the game of the year other than the Florida-Oklahoma game. So, kind of a dream matchup there.
Yeah, Ohio State, the guy I'm going to watch in this game, I am going to focus on James Laurinaitis because I've seen him play a couple times on TV. I've seen him play once in person. I've never been that impressed.
We saw him play in person, but did you see him? I didn't see him do a thing. Yeah, me too.
But I don't know. Maybe he's all hype. Maybe he's really that good. I'm going to really watch him in that game, and that'll be interesting to see how they handle. And that may be a little bit of an indicator.
Yeah.
If Ohio State is able to hold Texas's attack down, and again, Texas, if you're Texas, you're going, we're going to kick the crap out of Ohio State, and we're the best team in the country, and I don't care who's playing down in Miami. So
I don't want to hear that argument then. No, I don't care what happens in that game.
It doesn't work. Obviously, we've got some stinkers in the BCS as well this year.
Orange Bowl?
The Orange Bowl, I don't even know if I'll watch that one. Cincinnati and Virginia Tech, two mediocre teams.
Virginia Tech, every game they play is boring.
It is. I don't know how they manage to do that. Maybe
they're boring, and they make other teams boring because they play good defense.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that game. I remember 2 years ago, Robbie, I flew out on the first to Glendale because we wanted to cover the Oklahoma-Boise State game. And this year, I'm like, no, I'll wait till the second.
Yeah.
I don't need to go down for that game.
Nobody cares.
The Sugar Bowl could be really ugly, too. Utah, it'll be a home game for Alabama. Utah sold something like 2,500 tickets, which is surprising to me because isn't it a dream every Utah, every Mormon to go to Bourbon Street?
The party?
and watch your team get pummeled by Alabama? So not good.
It's going to be a road game.
Plus the flights were like $1,000 each. So it'll be a home game for Alabama. They're a team that wants to prove something that they really are as good as they played all year. And we saw that team in person, Robbie. That is a good football team.
Very physical team. And, they had Florida on the ropes at the end of the third quarter. It looked like it was,
I thought it was over.
It looked like Alabama was taking control of the game. And remarkable how Florida rebounded in that fourth quarter. But, Alabama's a very sound, physical team that it's ready to play just like Urban Meyer's teams are.
I can't see anybody in Utah being able to cover Julio Jones. I would throw it to him on every down.
He's an awesome athlete.
He is. He's something special. And so I think that'll be ugly. I don't think, everybody's saying what's going to be the next Boise State. I don't think it's going to be Utah. And then, of course, the other game could be interesting. I got a feeling about that game. Yeah, USC, Penn State. USC's defense is so good and so dominant, but they've been playing Pac-10 teams all year.
Yeah, and their offense is not, it doesn't scare you like it usually does with Southern Cal.
No, not at all. And then Penn State's not a bad, let's not forget, Penn State is a field goal away from playing for the national title.
Yeah, and they're feeling disrespected now because everybody's saying, Southern Cal's going to be another 21-point win for the Pac-10. So I think it's going to be a good game.
I like Penn State's coordinator as well, offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Galen,
Still chewing his fingernails up the press box.
We've had a lot of fun with Galen over the years. So, I think that may be the best of those games because I've got a gut Texas blows out Ohio State. I think Alabama blows out Utah. I don't care who wins the Virginia Tech Cincinnati game. So you may end up seeing the Rose Bowls being the best of the other BCS games.
Could be.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, you'll see as well, and we'll see what happens.
I don't agree with the Texas blowout.
You don't?
I think Ohio State's going to beat them.
Really?
I think Pryor's really. I think Pryor. Yeah, we'll wager. I think Pryor's really coming on.
I'll wager you a 16-ounce cold Diet Coke.
Okay.
You know what? That's code.
Code.
So we'll bet on that game. I'll take the Longhorns.
Okay.
That's going to do it. Well, next time we come to you, we'll be down in Fort Lauderdale / Miami / Dania /
South Florida.
Opelika, whatever we're going to be in, and we'll bring you a preview of Florida and Oklahoma. By then, we'll have had a better feel for kind of the demeanor of the teams, Robbie. And I never like to make that pick on the game until we see everybody and see what they're talking about and see how their body language is.
Yeah, 2 years ago, Pat, I had the feeling before the game that Ohio State was going to win.
Yeah.
By the end of the week out there, I was certain Florida was going to win that game.
The clincher to me was.
I don't know what it was, but the feeling among those players.
Yeah. The clincher to me was the last press conference with Urban Meyer. And there was just something in his tone, something in what he was talking about, something in his demeanor. And I remember going back to my room and telling my wife, I'm picking Florida.
Yeah.
I said, I was going to pick Ohio State all the way. I'm picking Florida. And she goes, why? I said, I told her I was right.
You know what he did the night before the game? He took each position breakdown and compared, and he goes, we're better here, you're better here, you're better. And the players said, yeah, we're better here, here, and here, and they won the game.
They were 41.
So they'll do the matchup thing again before this game, and like Meyer said the other day, hopefully that'll say we got a good chance too.
Yeah, it may be a little tougher to say you're better in every position.
The key is get Oklahoma to punt a few times because their punt cover team is pitiful.
No, you got to save that for the next Swampcast.
Okay.
We'll get to that later.
Forget about that.
Until next time from Miami, that's where we'll be then. Now we're in this newsroom. See back there, Gainesville Sun newsroom. And we'll be coming to you live, or not on tape. Why do I always say
We're always on tape.
Yeah, we are. Even when we're walking around. We'll come to you on tape from Miami next time. Preview Florida, Oklahoma. I know you can't wait for that. Till next time, Pat Dooley and Robbie Andreu, the Gainesville Sun, saying so long from the Sunshine State.